Let's get right into it. Number 8. In the bustling savannah, beneath the golden rays of the sun, elephants marched silently, their massive bodies gliding with an unexpected grace. The elder of the herd, named Mabele, seemed to possess a wisdom that went beyond her years. One day, she stopped abruptly, lifting her trunk and ears as if capturing a message carried by the wind that none but she could hear. The other elephants, respecting Mabele's intuition, followed suit, steadily moving inland away from their usual watering hole. Days later, a great tsunami ravaged the land they had vacated, leaving onlookers awestruck by the elephants' foresight. Meanwhile, on the slopes of a distant volcano, a herd of goats began to act erratically. Their caretaker, an elderly villager named Pietro, watched in bewilderment as they hopped with unusual vigor, bleating incessantly. It wasn't long before the ground rumbled and ash filled the air as the volcano erupted. Pietro recalled his goats' inexplicable behavior and realized their frenetic movements were a timely warning, natural alert to impending calamity. In a pastoral landscape across the world, sheep and cows exhibited anxious behavior. Lucy, a young farmer, noticed her usually calm flock pacing and bleating ceaselessly. One morning, a sudden quake shook their stable. Despite the tremor's limited damage, Lucy was left contemplating the invisible signals her animals seemed privy to. Toads, known for their tranquil solace in serene ponds, unexpectedly vacated their watery refuge days before an unexpected earthquake struck nearby. In the sky above, flocks of birds changed formations and abandoned their nests, their instincts precursory to violent earth tremors. These scenarios, witnessed by humans time and again, remind us that while we rely on technology, animals possess sensory abilities that, like nature's own alert system. Number 7. In a time when the horizon was both guide and guardian, sailors journeyed myriad oceans, relying not on technology, but on nature's cues. Of those numerous signals, a simple rhyme persisted across generations and oceans alike. Red sky at night, sailors' delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors' warning. Beneath the surface of this poetic wisdom lies a fascinating explanation rooted in atmospheric science. As the sun graces the horizon during sunrise and sunset, its rays navigate through a thicker layer of the atmosphere. This interaction makes the blue wavelengths scatter, allowing the red hues to paint the sky. Sailors, ever tuned to nature's patterns, noticed that these vibrant displays provided clues about the coming weather. In regions where weather systems commonly migrate from the west to the east, a red sky at night served as an omen of fair weather, harboring calm seas and favorable winds. The western skies cleared with parting clouds, leaving brilliant reds and purples in their wake, a hopeful promise of another easy sail. On the other hand, a crimson sunrise meant looming challenges. The atmospheric conditions that painted the morning sky heralded the arrival of storm systems. Such a warning insisted on vigilant preparation, summoning an innate understanding of nature's intricate ballet. However, this method of forecasting is best suited to certain maritime climates, close to the equator, where the Earth's weather behaviors differ significantly and clouds don't follow the accustomed west to east progression. This age-old rule loses its reliability. Thus, while the vivid tapestry of a red-hued sky endures in sailors' lore and the annals of meteorology, it highlights a compelling crossroads of art and science, of human experience drawing from the elements, a reminder that even amidst today's hum of technology, there whispers the persistent voice of nature, inviting us to look up and read the skies. Number 6. Peacock feathers are often celebrated for their captivating beauty. Their vibrant eye spots draw attention and fascinate many, making them a popular choice for home decoration. However, lurking beneath these stunning exteriors is a reality that might turn admiration into apprehension. Those mesmerizing feathers can be home to countless microscopic mites. These tiny pests thrive in the feathers, making them their own luxurious nests. Their minuscule size allows them to go unnoticed by the human eye, but their presence becomes evident over time. When people bring peacock feathers indoors, they often do so blissfully unaware, welcoming these mites into their homes. It's a tale as old as time, that what may appear enchanting carries hidden truths. Historically, after decorating with peacock feathers, people have experienced mysterious itching or minor infestations, even without seeing the real culprits. The discomfort led many to think the feathers carried a curse. In reality, the issue isn't a matter of supernatural misfortune, it's purely biology. Unless properly cleaned, these feathers act as tiny bug hotels. But the problem has a straightforward solution. By freezing the feathers for a couple of days or gently washing them, the mites can be eradicated effectively. So next time you gaze upon the iridescent beauty of peacock feathers, remember, it's not about bad luck, merely biology. Appreciating their aesthetics comes with the responsibility of proper care. Number 5. In a small village nestled amongst towering mountains, the belief in charms and talismans was as deeply rooted as the ancient trees that lined their paths. Elders told tales of magical artifacts, claiming they brought strength, courage, and protection to those who possessed them. Among the most prized were tigers' teeth, revered as potent symbols of bravery. Young Ila listened intently to the stories her grandfather shared by the light of the flickering fire. It was said that a tiger's tooth, when worn as a necklace, could instill the wearer with the courage to face any adversary. Captivated by this legend, Ila set out on a quest to find her own charm. In the village market, she encountered merchants offering various trinkets, clothes, feathers, and bones, all promised luck and valor. Drawing her eyes was a worn tiger's tooth, its surface dulled and weathered. The merchant bragged about its powers to anyone who cared to listen. As Ela reached for the tooth, her grandmother's voice echoed in her minder caution against the danger lurking beneath the allure. These relics, she warned, were not treated beyond their acquisition from the wild. Untouched by any form of cleansing, they were carriers of invisible hazards. Despite the warnings, Ila felt compelled to possess the tooth, an object that had been forged by the primal power of nature. With her charm placed securely around her neck, she was filled with a sense of invincibility, unaware of the microscopic dance of bacteria and parasites inhabiting her prized possession. Weeks passed, and Ila began to feel a strange sense of fatigue accompanied by fever. While the tooth hung close to her heart, it was its untreated surface that burdened her with illness. The village healer marveled at the microorganism invasion. The supposed protection had become a biological hazard. The realization spread among the villagers, turning folklore into a cautionary tale. Number 4. Those jingling bells on cows and sheep, they are more than decoration. They are an age-old alarm system. When animals are calm, the bells ring in a soft rhythm. But when danger strikes, the sound changes, it becomes frantic, or even silent if the animal freezes in fear. Predators hate that unexpected noise. Imagine being a wolf stalking prey, only for it to start ringing like a dinner bell. It ruins the element of surprise. Some farmers only bell a few animals in the herd, like designated leaders. That way, even in huge flocks, the shepherd knows where everyone is. No fancy tech needed, just some clever use of sound. Number 3. The morning began like any other for Lydia. She woke up, brewed her favorite coffee, and settled into her favorite armchair by the window to watch the sunrise. Her cat, Whiskers, lounged lazily on the rug, indifferent to the world outside. The tranquility was suddenly shattered by a loud thud. Lydia stood up, startled, and scanned the room for the source of the noise. Her eyes landed on the window, where a small finch was now vigorously flapping against the glass. desperate to escape the confines of her living room. Instinctively, Lydia rushed to the window, opened it wide, and watched as the bird soared away into the sky. Her heart beating fast, she glanced around the room at the chaos that had ensued in mere minutes. Feathers were scattered across the floor, and a trail of droppings painted a path of the bird's hasty retreat. The encounter left Lydia pondering not the implications of ancient omens, but the potential health hazards her avian intruder might have left behind. She remembered reading somewhere that birds could carry diseases in their droppings and spread airborne spores that could be inhaled. Taking no chances, Lydia acted quickly. She retrieved gloves, cleaning spray, and towels. With careful diligence, she cleaned every surface the bird might have touched, paying special attention to the potential residue of droppings. Her cat watched curiously as she worked, seemingly unfazed by the disturbance. Amidst the cleaning frenzy, Lydia couldn't help but think how bizarre the occurrence had been. As the sun continued its ascent, Lydia felt a sense of relief alongside a newfound awareness of the thin divide between nature and the homes we create. The lesson? If a bird flies into your home, focus less on superstition and more on practical matters. The chaotic visitor may be messy, but the aftermath is something you can and should confront, head on with awareness and cleanup supplies. Number 2. In the rural past, being barefoot outside wasn't a quirky lifestyle choice, it was a real danger. A single step could land you on a snake, a shard of glass, or a rusty nail. Before the advent of modern medicine, one infected wound could mean losing a limb or even your life. The thin leather sole of a shoe is often all that stands between you and serious injury. Walking barefoot was common in the countryside, where shoes were considered a luxury and not a necessity. However, this lifestyle brought significant risks. Without the protection of footwear, individuals faced hazards such as sharp objects hidden beneath dense grass or uneven surfaces teeming with insects and arachnids. Sharp stones could bruise or cut tender skin, while animal droppings might introduce harmful bacteria into open cuts. Moreover, the threat of encountering venomous snakes was a constant nightmare. With shoes, humans create vibrations that warn snakes of our approach, giving them time to slither away. Bare feet, however, do not create such vibrations. Without protective shoes, there is a greater risk of stepping on these reptiles, which can lead to deadly consequences, especially in areas where medical help is far from reach. Grandma's warning about wearing shoes wasn't just old-fashioned, but was rooted in reality and survival. It was a precaution against the very real risks of the environment. As people stomping through fields or trekking through woods, the discomfort of shoes was outweighed by the promise of safety. While modern life may seem to have diminished these risks, the reasoning remains sound. Number 1. Once upon a time, in the 1700s, travel by night was perilous for any traveler daring enough to venture onto the dimly lit roads. The carriage wheels would creak over uneven terrain, and the flickering lanterns offered little comfort. Horses, the faithful companions of voyagers, could be startled by the slightest disturbance. It was on such a night, nestled under the cover of ominous darkness, that the myth of the black cat began to weave its tale. Imagine the scene: a lone traveler guided by meager light, his breath visible in the chilled night air. As he trotted down a shadow-cloaked path, unbeknownst to him, a black cat sprang across the road. The sudden movement jarred the horse, and with a panicked whinny, the creature reared up, hurling the rider into the grass. An accident, due to the unpredictable nature of horses and low visibility, had just transformed into the seed of a superstition. Whispers spread through taverns and homes by the fireside, the gripping narrative of travelers hurled into peril, all due to the apparition of a black cat on the road. Soon, as stories often do, this tale twisted and warped beyond the realm of common sense. Although it was the shaky lanterns and startled animals that bore true blame for the accidents, people began to point fingers at the innocent feline. Over time, the symbolism attached to the black cat grew darker and more sinister. It was not only ill-fated to have one cross your path, But in some minds it was an omen of disaster. Fast forward to the present day, and such fears are a thing of the past. Innovative minds have illuminated our streets with the glow of streetlights and the keen beams of headlights from our vehicles.